Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining the award-winning To Hull and Back podcast. I'm your host, Nathaniel, and we're proudly sponsored by Kingfisher and Old Zoological Bar in Hull. Tonight, I'm joined by Will, Joe, and Ant to discuss the recent two Hull City games. We're still just almost in with a chance at the playoffs, so I feel like we should be having a pretty more positive podcast than we would have done if we'd done it after the Watford game. So, how are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, good, mate. Don't ask me about the Watford game. I didn't watch it.
Well, neither did I. Did anyone watch the Watford game? We weren't there, were we?
I think I watched it, but I couldn't tell you what happened.
No, I mean,
not a lot much.
Coma at one point.
Yeah. Watford missed a lot of chances. We missed a lot of chances. Tiffin missed a penalty. Then it ended.
I saw Matty Jacob do a good tackle.
Yeah. And
probably
Greaves had a chance at the end. And that should conclude the review of the Watford game. Right,
on to Coventry, guys.
On to Coventry, yes. So, I mean, of course, I don't want to be too negative, but missing a penalty is not ideal. But Coventry game, we scored one, so that's much better. It was a must-win game, and I think it'd be interesting to know what people's thoughts are. Of course, Will, I know you have a lot of thoughts on the FA Cup at the moment, but Coventry, of course, in the semi-final, that was a great game.
And I was hoping
they were going to sort of be on a high after that, regardless, and that they could never really reach the same performance as they did in the FA Cup semi-final, and they dropped a lot of players probably because they were a bit tired. Callum O'Hare couldn't even come off the bench; he was so exhausted apparently. So that sort of turned out correctly, didn't it? They were, just a bit tired, and we took advantage later on in the game as well.
Yeah, I think that was the case. That obviously not playing players like Sims and O'Hare and that from the start did affect them, because obviously when they came on, they looked decent and a bit of a threat when they did eventually come into the game. But the first half was where the game was really kind of won to a point, because City were fantastic in that first half, dominant, created plenty of chances, and could have easily scored more. Were somewhat unlucky with the goal they conceded, being the only shot in the game up to that point for Coventry. But all in all, it was a good result, a good performance. It was something that we, like I say, desperately needed. If we're going to have any chance of getting the playoffs, as slim as they are, it had to have been won, and it was. And it was nice to see, they say, a penalty scored, finally, and not by us either. And Delap continuing to play really well, and Noah O'Hare to save the day once again.
Yeah,
and feels like a long time since that man played, regardless of score.
And pronounce the episode title for us, will you? Because I don't want to mess it up.
So the emphasis is on the R in Noah. So you just change it to "We're not out of it yet," and then it sounds like we're not out of it. Yeah, that's the pun.
Yeah.
Didn't you do like English to a decent level, Nathaniel?
I have an A star in English literature.
Just checking. That's all.
I do. Yeah, but and because of that, I don't think that pronouncing it in that posh or not posh, anti-posh, rough way is
it is tough for you to not sound posh. To be fair,
exactly. So I struggled with that. I mean, it was a must-win game. I think we probably won 3 out of 5 of the must-win games, which by that maths we're not in with a chance, but we still are. So just how big was it, especially when we got that last goal with Coventry coming back into the game in the second half, was it?
Yeah, it was. You see, we've had these kind of games where we dominate games but don't put chances away, and then it comes back and bites us on the proverbial backside. That's been the story of our season, and probably realistically why we're just short of the top 6 at the minute. But it seemed like one of those games where, I mean, at half time, obviously we went up 2-1 ahead, but like Will said, Coventry's sole chance of the first half was literally a free kick that never was a free kick. I mean, it was a cracking free kick, let's be honest. He's put it away well, the lad. But is that my Leicester fan channel? That's bizarre. But no, it's one of those games, like you said, like the character in the squad. It's clear to see that all 11 of those players are going to fight until it's not possible to get the top 6. And even if I think it's mathematically impossible to get the top 6, they're going to try and finish the season as strong as it was. So yeah, it's a tough place to go to, Coventry. we saw on Sunday how good they can be. You know, they mixed it with Man United all the way to penalties, and the fact that they kept pegging us back, but then we kept going back ahead, and then managed to shut them out when the better players were on the pitch for the rest of the game. It's massive credit to the team, and I think Rosenior's subs. I know he probably made them from the stand. I think that was quite a bizarre standpoint.
He was suspended for 3 yellow cards this season.
Yeah, I listened to his interview on Humberside. He got a yellow against Watford. Yeah, he was not happy, and because he couldn't appeal it because it was a yellow, and he was fuming that he couldn't be on the sideline for that game. But obviously, he was in the stands and made the subs, and I think the subs were early and they were proactive, and that's something perhaps that we've had a little bit of a nibble at before for his subs. So I think this game, everything sort of seemed to work right, and we've come away with a really, really important win. That means we've still just hanging on to that tiny little thread of playoffs.
How is this still?
I don't know how. We all came away from the Stoke game saying it was over, and somehow we're 2 games.
The Stoke game, we've been fantastic almost every game.
Yeah.
We are currently top of the league, the form table over the past 5 games as well, which I was surprised by when I saw that.
Crazy. I don't know how that's happened. I think we played pretty well. I mean, Leeds maybe we didn't, have as many chances, but
we deserved more against Leeds. We were unlucky in the end. To be fair, I mean the Watford one's the one that's probably the outlier. But the rest we played well in almost every game. We probably should have got more from Borough as well.
But the Watford one, it's frustrating because the other 2 above us slipped up as well.
Exactly. That's happened all season. Whenever we've won, like Norwich and West Brom won, and whenever we've lost, they've faltered as well.
And we had a massive opportunity there to gain ground, and we just didn't. I think I'll come back to Watford here briefly. I think I've seen the penalty, and Ozan doesn't usually hit them like that. He's usually power, pace, in a corner, and because it's got the power on it, if the keeper goes the right way, chances are he's not getting there.
I feel like the fact it was at Watford maybe got into his head a little bit.
Exactly the point I'm about to make. I think because he knows what he was thought of, what he's thought as at Vicarage Road at Watford, and we know he's not that. He's been a brilliant player for us, but the fact that Watford wasn't the club for him, and to an extent he failed there, and the pressure of that, and wanting to prove those fans wrong, and wanting to maybe give him a bit if when he scored and celebrate and what have you. I think it just got to him.
That penalty was one where he's hoping the keeper goes the wrong way, whereas usually he, like Carvalho's against Coventry, makes sure he scores on his own sort of back, whereas that one just a bit tame, unfortunately.
Yeah, but Carvalho's was an absolutely superb penalty. He did the right thing, everything right about it.
Yeah, I think we've actually had the exact same results at the exact same time as Norwich over the last 6 games. So I think every single time they've dropped points, we have as well, and I think we've usually played afterwards as well.
We'll say that we faltered at the wrong time, but so have they. They could have had the chance to make sure it was out of sight, and they didn't take it.
Yeah. We're having a lot of, I think, Leicester City fans in the comments tonight. I don't know where that's come from, but they're very happy.
I wonder why.
Commentary.
They've definitely not had a great week at all.
Yeah. So,
to be fair, I was enjoying some of the Leicester comments underneath the Coventry full-time result thing. I assume there was a Coventry fan at some point, I'm guessing after they beat Leicester, saying, picture the scene. Leicester falter and finishing the playoffs, and Coventry finishing the top 6 and beat Leicester in the final. So there was a lot of copy and pasting of that comment. So that was quite funny. I mean, I liked Coventry as a club on Sunday, and then by the end of yesterday, I was done with them. I mean, the stick Carvalho was getting.
And speaking of tweets, Dan, that tweet at half time that we highlighted in the group chat, Coventry said they're unlucky to be behind at the break.
Yeah, I don't get it.
One shot.
Granted,
and it shouldn't have been a foul.
Very efficient with those shots, though, to be fair.
Yeah, 100%.
Even when they scored the second, that was only their second shot of the game, I think. And they probably
only
had about 6, 12, 15.
And it definitely, there's a bit of a suspicious thing in the build-up as well. I mean, I'm not quite sure.
I'm getting deja vu to Norwich away, Will.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's like the second or third time that's happened at Coventry. They scored a goal where it went out of play earlier as well. Same line, same part of the pitch where it's deemed to have stayed on the pitch. And
Strange.
Rosenior in his
Well-
post interview though was brilliant. He said, I watched his one with the club. He said to Fletch, he said, "Don't ask me about the referee." Basically, yeah, pretty much
'Cause it'll go
implying
too far.
I don't want to get banned again.
Yeah,
I
pretty
remember
much.
before
He's-
the
he's
season
been-
started. Yeah,
He's
go on,
been
Roy.
suspended more than any of City's players this season.
yeah, he's a bit emotionally on the sidelines.
think he
Ali.
got-
I like a bit of passion.
Yeah, he was emotional last season. I remember that, and I think I remember him saying in an interview that he's going to be more measured this season. And then, of course, he gets banned during the first match of the season, and then
I mean,
we've had
He had every
terrible
right to be
decisions,
angry
but
about that.
to be fair, to be fair, some of the refereeing in the EFL, all the teams suffer from it. It's so bad.
I've even
I
thought
think
this
what makes
season,
it
it's bad.
what
for
makes
both
it worse
teams,
for
isn't
him-
it?
What makes it worse for him is that the referees usually come out and then apologise and say that the decision in the game was wrong, and Liam's being punished for pointing that out in the game, perhaps maybe a bit too emotionally. But when you're a manager of a football team with such high stakes, emotions are going to be riding high, so they should take that into account. I mean, obviously, if he's effing and jeffing them and calling them whatnot, then maybe I can understand it. But when they're coming out after games, I think the reason he was so mad for this recent one was apparently at the Watford game he got a yellow card and therefore suspended for the Coventry game. But in the report for after the game, they apologised and said he shouldn't have got a yellow for it, but he wasn't allowed to appeal it because it was a yellow.
Yeah, he was suspended for wrongly being booked.
Yeah, so they were like, "Oh yeah, you've been banned for this game and you shouldn't have been, but you've got to stay banned." Sorry about that.
Yeah, ridiculous. And it's just been, I think it's been dreadful all season. And for both teams, it's often been, well, that's completely wrong, regardless of whether it's for us or against it. I've just been watching some of the games this season. And I think.
Yeah, the thing is, we've benefited from it a couple of times this season as well. It's just, it happens, every single team suffers some shockers, no matter who they are in this league.
I think
it does, and this is why I'd never want VAR. Football is not meant to be perfect. Football is meant to be that human error.
I'd still rather have that than VAR.
That poor refereeing decision is always going to be like that post-game comment that we talk about. Yes, it's going to be annoying at the time because it's cost you a result, or but like Nathaniel said, you're also going to get on the other end where it's going to benefit you and you're going to get results from that. So it's that human error, that emotion at the moment. That is what football is for me. And then VAR and trying to perfect it, and even semi-automated offsides and things like that. Why are we making football?
See,
I know you're going on about it, but that last-minute winner for Coventry in the cup semi-final, that you have that happen, all the emotion it gives you, and all that, and then it turns out he's a toenail offside, and he's got no advantage from it really at all.
Yes.
It's like,
see, right? I've been saying
devastating.
this I've been saying this all week, Will. I said it on my live stream before the Coventry game. I've said it to people in person. VAR was brought in for clear and obvious errors. Yet Nottingham Forest, although that statement was embarrassing, they were
hilarious.
They were obvious errors. Diaz having that goal disallowed for Liverpool against Tottenham earlier this season was a clear and obvious error. But VAR did nothing to stop either of those things. Yet every single week in the Premier League, there's a debate about he's got a size 9 foot instead of a size 8, so he's offside. He hasn't had a shave this morning, so he's offside. That's not human error. Even the best linesman in the world will not be able to make out a millimetre or two between centre-half and striker. Simply will not happen. VAR's there for clear and obvious errors. Toenails, long fingernails, beards, longer noses.
I do remember when Leeds were in the Prem. There's one that I remember when Leeds were in the Prem. I remember Patrick Bamford scored against Palace, and he was given offside because his arm was offside. Now, if I recall,
that he can't touch the ball with.
Yeah, the thing that you can't score with. No, Bamford has scored with it. He was loud.
Ozan scored with it.
Yeah, I suppose you are allowed to score with your arm, at least in the Championship. I think it's because we haven't even experienced it sort of for Hull City, and we're still annoyed by it. That's how bad it is. other than like the occasional England one, it's not really impacted us, and we still hate it. So imagine how much we'd hate it if it actually started to impact us.
I think the only bit of new technology they've introduced that's worth keeping is goal line technology. That's it.
Yeah, goal line technology is stupendous because it's either in or it isn't.
I think
Quick, it takes no time to thingy. It's just quick, pops up on the watch, done.
Yeah, semi-automated offsides would be all right if they put a margin of error in it, I think, or kind of had an allowance for a certain amount.
Yeah, agree. But you're right.
Anyway,
I totally agree with you there, Ant. You got the goal line technology is when it. I don't understand why. Do La Liga still not have it? Have I got that right?
I have no idea, but I know some leagues
don't.
don't.
Yeah, some leagues don't, and I don't understand why. Because if you remember, we were the first team to benefit from goal line technology, really. When Alan McGregor made that save opening day of the 13-14 Premier League season, his back was arched like anything, and his arm was outstretched, hooked the ball off the line. The referees watched buzzed and said, Alan McGregor's made that save. The ball wasn't fully over the line. It's not in. That is simple, effective, easy. And it's worked apart from the one game Sheffield United versus
Sheffield United Aston Villa.
That's one in like 10,000, 100,000 games, or maybe not 100,000, but it's, you know, especially as it was one of the first games back from COVID.
It was like the very first game, I think.
It was, yes, it was the first Premier League game.
So it's not broken. I think goal line technology is stupendous. That and the was it disappearing spray they put on for the walls and stuff. I think they introduced that the same season.
Didn't it?
2013, they were cooking. The refs were cooking with the goal line technology and the vanishing spray. Stupendous. Refereeing peaked in 2013. But it's just gone downhill.
Wow.
I mean, we were just talking about my English credits a while ago.
Credits?
I don't know.
Achievements,
thank you. But year 8, sort of spoken language exam, like a speech, I did about VAR, and I said it should be for clear and obvious errors, but none of this review nonsense. Just, if something's
foul or not kind of thing.
Just look at it, and if it's just, don't break up the game, because that's sort of why people like it so much. But I wouldn't have implemented it like it has been done.
But notice though how at World Cups and Euros and whatever, it works relatively fine.
Yeah. There's always controversy, but no one really complains about the way it's at least implemented or used. You might disagree with the decision they make, but at least
I think the issue with it is the people using it rather than the actual system itself.
I'd agree.
It needs to be run by someone independent from the PGMOL.
Like they were saying on Match of the Day on the weekend, there should be ex-professionals in there.
Yeah, that should be. It should be. There should be ex-professionals and people who
should be a combination of match officials, ex-players.
Yeah. Well,
you've got to have different perspectives on it.
So we beat Coventry.
Yeah.
I mean, Philogini's our top goal scorer. Not the best goal from him, but awful attempt.
It was another Pushkas contender from him.
Yeah.
A Pushkas contender that didn't get nominated for EFL Goal of the Season.
Yeah.
Or even Goal of the Month.
Yeah. And then, of course, the Ohio sort of just snuck in on the goalkeeper and sort of forced him into an error. I mean, we've been critical of Ryan Allsop recently.
I was just going to say,
it was like Allsop was
really
playing
tried
for the other team.
Ryan Allsop, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'd argue that was probably a worse individual performance than we've seen from Allsop all season. I mean, Allsop's been consistently quite poor for quite a while, but that from Collins was dreadful. I mean, to be fair,
he's dropped 2 clangers in a game before. He's just
the Ohio one. I think is more the defender's really, really poor back pass sold him. He should just boot it. Yeah, but he should still absolutely just leather that into row Z when you've got a striker closing you down. Just get rid of it. I don't know why he's trying to pass it through him.
It felt like he was scared of trying to make a tag challenge on Ohio as if he was going to come off badly.
He's a big lad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's benefited us.
it was good from Ohio to keep the press on as long as he could, which is what I like to say.
The sort of thing Sharp probably wouldn't want to do, but just can't do because he can't run. Whereas Ohio, and it's just physical presence is an asset, whereas Sharp hasn't got that at the moment. And
Ohio's had the kind of influence this season that we expected Sharp to have, to come off the bench in a couple of games and win us points.
Yeah.
Like, Ohio now has won us 6 points and he's barely played. So that goal at Rotherham and the goal at Coventry, he's won us 2 games with those goals. So
I'd argue Ant playing left back for a bit at Huddersfield was vital as well.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing we expected. What we thought we were signing Sharp to do, want we to come off the bench and grab a couple of goals in games
which made sense back when we actually signed him. When you look at his record,
2 things.
Yeah, it's just not worked out.
2 things that sort of link together. The first to the strikers, #free Connolly. 3rd, 4th top scorer this season, can't even make the bench. What's going on there?
I think
there's obviously something.
I think it's something we can't discuss and we don't really know about properly.
Yeah,
and, yeah. Second thing, it's for non-video watchers, for audio listeners. My little banner says, "Where is Panda?" Is it injury? Because I haven't seen it written anywhere. My guess is it's goodwill to Ingram because Rossini knows he's going to be gone in the summer.
Probably.
But, yeah.
Well, I mean, he's going to be gone.
Yeah. From the perspective of how pivotal having a ball-playing goalkeeper is to the system, you can justify in that way. But he has made so many errors that we are long beyond the point where many other goalkeepers would have been dropped. And how bad can Panda on the ball be? Because we wouldn't have signed him if he was garbage. So, yeah, he should have been in a few weeks ago.
I think it's just a case of, like I said when we spoke about this previously, I think it's just a case that Rossini doesn't want to take the risk of replacing Allsop with Panda, and if Panda has an awful game, and if he don't, where does he go from there? Because then it's like, well, shit, where do I go now from this? And I think if we had already been out of the playoff race with the seen Panda, and I think if we're out of the playoff race come the Plymouth game, you'll see Panda.
And I don't think it's probably realistically anything that we're going to know with 100% certainty.
No, exactly. I do think
he's not. To me, we wouldn't have spent the amount of money we did on him if we didn't plan for him to be number 1. I
think he'll be number 1 next season. I think that's what was the point. He's going to definitely be next season. Yeah,
but but when you're looking at sort of like the whole issue as a whole, like when fans are obviously when you're watching Ryan Allsop do what he does on a regular basis, and important time of the season where results are perhaps definitely more important than the performances, and then you've seen your goalkeeper drop clanger after clanger, game after game, and you're thinking realistically he should probably be dropped. Other managers will have dropped him, and then you're thinking, so the plan obviously was to bring Panda in for next season as number 1, let him acclimatise over these few months, but he's been here now since January, and he can't be any worse than Allsop is what the point people are making. Is obviously Rosinia has got a reason as to why he's playing Allsop, and I mean, fair play. We can't argue that his distribution is good. Sometimes, I mean, against Cov as well, sometimes he makes maybe a bit of a suicide pass into the middle when they're already marked, and he probably should have gone long.
That one right in the middle, oh my God. When they've both got 2 men on them.
But that's going to happen. That's going to happen playing this system. We understand that. But
Championship playing for the goalkeeper playing out the back, he's not going to be Edison or Allison, is he?
Yeah, but for the majority of the game,
they made that mistake. That's the way that style's played.
Yeah, but for the majority of the game, and if which is a positive for Allsop, is that his distribution is very good. It's just that maybe the more traditional football fans know that a goalkeeper's meant to keep the ball out of the goal, and he doesn't do that very well.
On that, and I was talking to Dean Windass this morning, and we were talking about goalkeepers and passing it out from the back, and he said, back in my day, there was none of this. There was none of this passing out from the back stuff. Oh, he's good with his feet. but he's not good with his hands. You looked at a goalie, said he can stop the ball going in the back of the net. He's good with his hands. Right, you play then.
To be fair, I think football's moved on since he
Yeah.
was a player. Approaching 15 years ago.
When this was at the gym, and when Dean moved away, someone around us said maybe he should get his boots back out. I said I think Dean will be perfectly happy doing what he's doing now, to be honest.
Yeah, indeed.
Back to Allsop, and you love a Ryan Allsop stat.
Yes.
Chuck some out there in case the listeners haven't seen them.
I don't have any handy. I can try and find it. I mean, there is a page that's been posting stats for goalkeepers and like sort of with your X and Y graphs, trying to like sort of establish like the strengths and weaknesses of some teams and goals and conceding and things. And people then pointed out that maybe Allsop is probably as bad as we expected to be, and he's come out on most. I would say the vast majority of all the stat graphs that I've seen. It's not good reading for him. Let me just have a quick sieve here. So I think the basic gist is that we have a lot of chances conceded against us and the majority of them go in. So, I think we can all safely say that if there's a shot on target, we're worried with Allsop in goal. And the stats seem to back that up.
What actually surprised me about the stats is like the worst keeper in the league isn't. It's apparently Gavin Bazunu at Southampton, and that's
but
they've kind of stuck with him.
Yeah, no, it's. But that's the Southampton fans are in a similar thing to me. So I know Football Martin, who's a Southampton fan. I talk to him on TikTok a lot, and he's been saying for a long time that they needed to drop Bazunu. But they won't because it's a system. They've got the exact same thing as us. That he's a poor goalkeeper.
He had a poor game against us.
That he's really bad at shot stopping, but because he's really good with the ball at his feet, he stays in goal. And obviously we know what style of play Russell Martin likes to play, and that's the reason why he's in goal. But it's the same. But it's there's no surprise that it's Allsop and Bazunu, the two goalkeepers that are in goal for their footwork, that the worst, let's say, hands goalkeeper that stop shots. Like that tends to be the trend. So, they're in goal for the system, less so for the shot stopping.
Because I think we have the most possession in our own final third as well of anyone. So you can see just how important Allsop being there is. But then also, it would be nice if he could just, I don't know, stick his arm out
near post for a bit.
Yeah.
It's like, although that goal didn't necessarily, in the grand scheme of things, because Ohio scored, cost us any points, I'm still not happy with it because one, ball went out, ref, come on, we've talked about that, and two, it's also at his near post again, and I always say that I'm very conscious about what I say about players because I know a couple of them, and for me, it's nothing personal. When a player deserves criticism for their performance, they'll be criticised for the performance and nothing else. When they deserve praise, they'll deserve praise. And I'll preface everything with Ryan Allsop's a decent bloke, right? Yeah. But I've never seen a goalkeeper at this level of professional football be so consistently weak at stopping shots at his near post. It seems as though we're having this conversation every week.
I mean, him and Cyrus Christie. I mean, you talk about sort of combinations of great players like Bowman and Grzycki and Omer and Tufan, Yelovich and Long, but Cyrus Christie trying to, when the ball's cut inside with a winger and then shot near post, the worst combination of Hull City players ever. Not good.
Fair point.
Yeah. I mean, I feel bad to criticise, but we're beyond the point to where I can feel bad because that was 5-10 weeks ago now.
Yeah, you can forgive individual mistakes, but when it happens consistently, it becomes a problem, and it is being a problem now for a few weeks.
And if it was Panda at 23, 24 years old, again, you could understand it, but we've heard about this from Derby fans and Birmingham fans as well, and it was sort of proven true after quite a good start to his season as well.
Well, yeah, let's not forget when he made his debut against Leeds. That's a high-pressure environment to make your debut in. Made some brilliant saves, distribution looked great, and he kept a clean sheet. Following game, man of the match away at Stoke.
Yeah. He's had several good performances mixed in amongst all the clangers as well. Like against Middlesbrough, he had a fantastic game. Sunderland, he had a great game.
Clean sheet against QPR.
And Watford.
2
and 3, maybe he's improving. And it wasn't a dreadful clanger against Coventry. It was just another dodgy.
I was going to say, and to be fair, the free kick, he had no chance of saving that.
That was a good strike.
As much as it's like, for me, I know some of you lads think that's absolutely not a foul. I think
no, it's very soft.
I think it's a case of some refs give it, some refs don't.
Yeah, it's a very soft one. Yeah,
but I've got absolutely no problems with the strike. No goalkeeper in the world gets anywhere near that. It's brilliant.
Yeah. So we've got 2 games left. We're currently 3 points off the playoffs, 6 points to play for. We've got West Brom and Norwich on 72. We're on 69. Just how much chance do we have? Because we've got a home game, which means maybe we're, definitely not going to win. Other than that, though, I feel like, last game of the season, you don't know until we get there. But I feel like Plymouth away game, they're low down in the table. That's definitely winnable. And then you're hoping Sheffield Wednesday and probably away could be slip-ups for West Brom and Norwich. We've got a massive game against Ipswich, so how much chance do we give us? Well, how do you realistically see the next 2 games, or I guess the next 6 games really involving the playoff chasers going?
It'll be interesting because obviously this weekend we're now playing 8 p.m. on the Saturday night, so thanks to Sky because they're dickheads. It's literally the worst possible time to be playing on a Saturday. But because we're playing that late, we'll know the results, and so as a result, so will Ipswich. They'll know both teams will know what they need going into it. Mm-hmm. If, say, Wednesday beat West Brom or get something from West Brom anywhere, or Swansea do the same with Norwich, it gives us the incentive. But at the same time, let's say Leeds lose tomorrow night against QPR. That's huge incentive then for Ipswich going into it, knowing that they can go into the final game of the season above them. Well, they've got a game in hand as well then. It means that essentially when they play Coventry next week, they could win that and get promotion with it without Leeds even playing. So it's got a couple of permutations on it. I don't know whether that will help or hinder City, because sometimes when City have played big games under pressure, they've faltered. But it feels like because the form recently has been good, it might help them. It might cause Ipswich to do the same. And I think because it's Ipswich as well, it's a team that likes to play football, get the ball forward, play open, and we always seem to have a good time against those sort of teams. So it'll be a very interesting final game. I just wish it was on at a decent time.
Yeah, I agree that the 8 o'clock kickoff obviously is not helpful, but
shocking.
for the team, I think it's useful if we know that we have the incentive, but then equally.
But it's also the other effect that we could technically be out of it by the time we play that game. If we were kicking off at the same time as West Brom and Norwich, you've guaranteed that ruckus atmosphere because it's going to be at the same time as them. But with it being 8 o'clock, if West Brom and Norwich both win because of our goal difference, we're out of it.
It's unlikely.
So
to be fair, if they win, it doesn't matter. I don't care what the result is.
See, the thing is you look at the remaining fixtures, right? I think we're obviously a severe disadvantage because of our goal difference being far worse than the 2 above us. But
yes,
like their games aren't easy either. Like Swansea have found, I think they've won the last 3 on the bounce or something like that. So they're obviously at a point where they're on the beach, but they've got no pressure to play, so they may be playing better because of that. So that's going to be a tough game for Norwich, and then you've got Sheffield Wednesday, who absolutely have to win against West Brom, so they're going to throw everything at them.
Might do.
Yeah, and because
Wednesday,
they have to win because Birmingham and Huddersfield play each other, and regardless of what happens in that game, even if it ends a draw, Wednesday are back in the bottom 3 because of their goal difference. So they have to win to give themselves a better chance of staying up on the last game. So they're going to throw absolutely everything at West Brom, and I think that could be the game. I think West Brom's the team we're targeting, not Norwich. I think Norwich will probably beat Swansea, but I think West Brom will have a bit of a shaky end because they're in poor form, only 1 win in 6, I think. So our forms at the most important time seem to have swapped. So like West Brom now are struggling to win, and we're starting to pick up. So hopefully that momentum can carry us through. I just want it to go to the last game. That's all. Like just even a draw for West Brom or Norwich, just so that we've got something to play for it at Plymouth. Have a nice, so that the entire season that we've had something to fight for. Even if we fall short, then we can say that's a decent season because at least we were in it up until the last bit.
It looks like we're going to be 7th as well. It does look like we're going to finish 7th.
Yeah, beating Coventry means we're better the rest, which is
very likely.
Something. Yeah. It's something. It's not impressive, but I guess in a certain way.
When you look at some of the teams who were up there, it's quite good considering where we've come from.
Considering we would have to beat a Southampton and a Leeds and a Leicester and an Ipswich, or 2 of them, or potentially a West Brom or a Norwich, to get promoted, and one of those playoff games is at home, so we wouldn't win, we'd lose, we'd get thumped. You'd think, well, if we finish 6th,
play better against the better teams at home, though.
Well, true,
yeah, that's
true.
Because Ipswich are such an open side, I think it will benefit City the way that we play.
Yeah. I just hope that
the way we played away, we didn't actually play that badly in that 3-0 loss.
We didn't.
Well, Ipswich. I remember an Ipswich fan saying to me that, even though we beat you 3-0, you're the best team to come to Portman Road this season. I thought, are you mental?
Well, I think 2 of the goals kind of early on killed the game, but obviously it's much easier to control the game when you're 2 or 3-0 down because the other team takes the foot off the gas slightly. But for the last 70, 60 minutes of that, we had the ball the entire time. I mean, I think Ipswich scored, but I
don't know. I think Ipswich was probably our worst away performance. I think that's the only game that Rosini said, and I remember him saying on an interview that we could actually walk away from and say we deserve nothing from the game. It was the only game that we were outdone. That's what he says.
Dokan Cynic in that game as well off the bench.
Yeah,
he actually played a few minutes of football. Will it happened?
He had a shot on goal,
and he made a tackle.
I think you're lying. I think this is all some AI generated football match he created.
Well, it was a bit fuzzy. Could have been AI.
Back to the fixtures. Can I just make the point that Norwich play Swansea, who've got nothing to play for. West Brom play Sheff Wednesday, who've got everything to play for. Those roles switch on the final day. Norwich go away to Birmingham, who will be fighting for every point. And then West Brom have got Preston at home.
Their season's definitely over.
We've got both. We've got Ipswich.
I think Plymouth might be all right after this weekend. I think they've just got enough. They might be off. They might be safe going into the final day.
Well, they're going to be above Birmingham or Huddersfield, aren't they?
Yeah.
On the final day.
Yeah. As things, we've got Ipswich up the top, they've got a game in hand on Leeds and Leicester, and they're still fighting for every point. And then there's Plymouth down at the bottom, who at the moment are 2 points outside the relegation zone in 20th, and they've got Millwall this weekend, who are again on the beach. Mm-hmm. So we could be facing 2 teams who are fighting for their lives in terms of fighting for their season, and their season hinges upon these 2 games. We could equally only be playing one of them, depending on what results go Plymouth's way and Birmingham Huddersfield and how Sheff Wednesday do, etc.
Yeah, it's all quite exciting though, and it's nice that against Stoke, after we lost that game, I didn't think we'd be talking about this at all, and I mean it's still quite frustrating that I think we probably should have won either or both the Watford and Middlesbrough games. If we'd won both, we'd be 5th, but can't think about that now.
The Norwich ones, they're the big ones.
It's the you can't blame one small moment in a 46-game season, but that last-minute decision away at Norwich on the opening day, that doesn't happen and it finishes level. We're level on points.
And the red card and the attempted murder on Connolly from Angus Gunn.
Well, yeah, that
pivotal moments.
Angus Gunn should have been sent off there, and then, maybe should have been sent off, but then Demetrius Giannoulis should definitely have been sent off, and then after that they go and score. If the referee punishes him properly, Norwich's goal doesn't happen.
But it doesn't matter because, like I say, it's one moment in a 46-game season. There's plenty of other chances you've got in there that where you've probably taken points you shouldn't have done, and vice versa.
I think though, even though we are still quite high up the league, you look at the games, and I still feel like over the course of the 46 games or 44 we played so far, we are below where we should be. I feel like there have been more games we should have got more points out of than the opposite.
And that
I would
comes
argue that's the same for Norwich and West Brom. They've had a few fixtures when they should have done better. Like for a while, the Norwich fans wanted rid of Wagner.
They did. Yeah, I guess the thing is
because they weren't having a good time midway through the season. They weren't on the greatest bit of form.
Yeah, we just at the really peak time where we were 3 points clear, with I think was it 12 or 11 games to go. We drew with West Brom and we were a game closer and 3 points clear, and then we didn't win any of the next. Was it?
Yeah, it was in our hands. It was in our hands, and we let it slip. But I was trying to think. I need to look back at the start of the season, because the start of our season must have been really good. Because I seem to remember over the Christmas period we had a bad run, obviously with all the injuries and everything. When Philogene got injured, and then we struggled, and then into January, obviously, then we lost the lap, and we sort of continued, and then we made obviously the signings, and we started to pick up again. But then we have the most recent bad one where we won like 2 in 10 or something. So we've had a couple of bad runs in the second half of the season, but always been in and around the top 6. So I feel like the start of the season was far better than perhaps we remember, and I want to double check our results,
especially with the squad we have, because I think Twine not been quite as good as some other players, and Lekilo, Vinagre.
Yeah, playing Traore as a winger and Greasy as a left back.
I genuinely forgot about Vinagre's existence then, and that was this season.
11 appearances, Vinagre.
Yeah,
I'm pretty certain at least one person on here in the pre-season preview put him as their signing of the season. I'm pretty certain.
I think 2 of us did. We hadn't made a few of other signings.
Yeah, at that point we hadn't signed like Philogene and players like that.
I'd say I was. I'll happily admit this now. I wasn't too bothered about the Tyler Morton signing, but that's turned out to be one of the best we've made this season. So I'll throw that out there. Yeah, that initial preview, I was talking nonsense. Mind you, that's never really.
James Furlong was the coup of deadline day in the summer, though.
Yes, we will always have Birmingham away in the FA Cup replay,
and the under-21s against Burnley. Will.
Oh yeah,
him doing absolutely nothing at right back for 60 minutes, then getting subbed off.
Yeah,
epic.
He was the only person to do nothing in a 6-1 win.
Total football.
Brandon Fleming had a brilliant game that day.
He did.
If you're sort of can't think of the word again, a star in English literature, I think we usually predict the.
I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop you right there, because you can stop pretending that's a brag, because I've got a degree in it. So let's just end that there.
Fair enough. If you'll humour me for a second, we normally predict the games for Hull City. I'd be interested to see if anyone can correctly predict the results of all the games that are going to be relevant till the end of the season with Norwich and West Brom as well, if anyone wants to give that a go. So,
well, I'm going to predict 3-0.
Let's go. Sheffield went. As a 2-3-0 wins for Hull. What about the other games, though?
Wednesday will beat West Brom 3-0.
I should have seen this coming.
Swansea will beat Norwich 3-0.
Yeah.
Then Norwich.
This might swing our goal difference.
Then Norwich will beat Birmingham 3-0. So
Preston, West Brom.
But Preston will win 3-0 as well against West Brom.
So we're getting playoffs. Nice.
Of course we are.
Yeah. And do you want to give it a go?
So predicting our results and Norwich's and West Brom's.
I won't force you to predict the score lines. You can just predict whether it's a win, draw, or loss.
I honestly think West Brom struggle against Wednesday. I don't know if they draw or lose, but they won't beat Wednesday, I don't think. I think Norwich beat Swansea, and then I think Norwich probably because of that win, I think we'll carry them to a decent win on the last day, and they'll secure top 6.
Yeah.
And I think West Brom will have quite a shaky last game, and I don't know from there, but I feel like we'll beat Ipswich and take it to the last game. It'll be between us and West Brom. So, yeah, I'm trying to stay as optimistic as I can because I just want I want that last day to be
You want to
to
be
have
checking
something
your
riding
phone.
on it. I really do. Yeah. I
seeing
want
what
to
the other
be.
score is.
Yeah, I want my emotions to be peak and troughing all day. I want to be full football
I'm
experience.
like that Saturday 3:00 till 5. I haven't got a half and half Swansea City Sheffield Wednesday scarf, but if I had one, I'd be twirling that around the living room, jumping around when
All right, Lee.
they lose.
I'd ban it.
Yeah, but like you gotta hope for it. You gotta hope they give us a favour. So yeah, Joe.
I mean, technically, could we actually argue that we owe Leeds a favour with this Ipswich game because they got us promoted like 10 years ago?
We've done Leeds like 2 favours already. We lost Leicester drop points, and then we beat Southampton for them.
Yeah.
That was their favours.
And we
Then
lost
they beat us. So it's their turn again now.
Yeah. Joe, do you want to predict them?
Yeah, I echo every word Will said. No, I'm kidding.
No.
I think we beat Ipswich, and I think we beat Plymouth. I think Norwich draw to Swansea and lose to Birmingham.
Ooh, bold.
Then
I think in the playoff.
I think West Brom beat Sheffield Wednesday and draw against Preston.
Wow. So
worth a
every
quid.
single result goes our way. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's worth a pound, that, Joe. Worth a
Almost
pound.
like bias doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I know, it's totally neutral here.
Okay, so I agree though that Sheffield Wednesday are in good form. West Brom, good team, but I think it'll be at the in front of the 30 billion Sheffield Wednesday fans. I don't know. They're just going to be quaking in their boots. They're not going to be able to handle the pressure. I think Sheffield Wednesday will be tight, but they'll get a 1-0 win.
Don't you be getting clipped again?
No.
I hope silver lining and all that.
Yeah, I think that Sheffield Wednesday will beat West Brom. I think Swansea, they are in good form. I think they'll push Norwich, but I think Norwich will probably pick themselves up after drawing to Bristol. So I think it would go down. And so I think Sheffield Wednesday do us a great favour by beating West Brom, and I think we'll, against Ipswich, I think we'll use that sort of momentum and probably lose 3-0.
If it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Or we will destroy Ipswich and we will lose to Plymouth.
I wouldn't have minded a couple of weeks ago if Ipswich had not faltered a couple of times. If it had been a game where Ipswich could have got promoted ahead of Leeds, I wouldn't have considered it the end of the world if we'd lost.
If we'd already if it wasn't already possible, then I think Ipswich going up would be nice. All in all, I think
it's the most preferable of the 3 up there. I think.
I mean, Leicester would be going up. It's funny because they get 10-point deduction immediately, so that'd be a laugh. And then you want us to win the playoffs, and then you want Ipswich to go off. But that's a nice thing because
Can I just be honest for a second?
Go on.
I think Norwich will beat Swansea and then draw with Birmingham on the last day. West Brom Preston will be 0-0, and then Sheffield Wednesday will beat West Brom.
Yeah,
that's
and we will beat Ipswich, and we will lose to Plymouth.
The team will want to be catching technically because of the form is West Brom rather than Norwich.
Yeah.
And then there'll be one last case of typical City this season in that West Brom do that, and we've got a real chance of getting the top 6, and we'll lose to Plymouth on the last day and finish 7.
1-0 80th minute, yeah.
Being honest again, though, I do also think we win both these games. I think Ipswich will be up for it, and we play better against the big teams at home.
The good thing is you can see it
on the last day.
You can
see it
beating at home this season.
It's like being to a neutral. You think, Ipswich, they've done really well this season. And although Hull City are still fighting in there, Ipswich are doing well. But I don't think people who aren't Hull City fans understand just how well we play against big teams at home.
Anyone?
The only thing that worries me about Ipswich is that they're a side that score a lot of late goals. They manage to claw games back from losing positions and still manage to win even with like 5 minutes left. And we are very, very shaky at the back. And I feel like if we're in a winning, unless we're 2 or 3 goals up against Ipswich going into like the 80th minute, there's a real worry that we still don't come through that game because they're going to throw absolutely everything at it. And our defensive record this season suggests we're probably not going to hold them out. So we need a nice healthy goal cushion to get something from Ipswich is the only worry. But with recently, we scored 3 against QPR. We've just scored 3 against, we're maybe finding those goal scoring bits, and Delap's back starting again. Obviously, he's still not got 90 minutes in him, but you could see how much better we were in that first half when we had Delap leading the line. We had an outlet who actually held the ball up, drove us forwards. And like you say, we play better against the better sides, and then we're good away. So going into that Plymouth game, hopefully we've taken something from Ipswich. We're going to the Plymouth game, and maybe they're feeling the pressure a bit because they need to try and stay in the division. And we just sort of continue and do what we do best away from home and sort of shithouse our way to the playoffs. That would be absolutely phenomenal. It would be absolutely brilliant. If we finish in the top 6 from where we were after that Watford game, the emotion would just be crazy. Right. It would.
Yeah.
The thing is, it could be so much more comfortable as well. And that comes back to home form and Delap being injured and Allsop goalkeeping errors and all those things.
Penalties.
3
penalties missed. That's 6 points right there.
But anyway.
Not that
Come on, Wednesday!
I feel like if we score against Watford at home and go 1-0 up, I think we go and win that game. If we score away with our away form, we probably win that game. The Leicester one, don't know, because we go 1-0 up anyway. But I think the 2 games against Watford, the missed. It's the refereeing decisions against Norwich, and it's the penalties against Watford. If you want to boil it down to anything and point out to some that are like nailed on, I think you look at the
there's
Watford
also
and the Norwich
another one
games.
you've missed, which came up earlier, which was probably a Dama Traore miss against Leeds in the last minute.
Yeah. True, but I still feel like over the course of that game, we get a bit lucky.
We'll never ever forgive him.
Allsop makes a great one-on-one.
Unless Adama scores a goal that gets us into the top 6 or gets us promotion by finishing in the top 6.
If Adama Traore does what Diame did, when we get to Wembley, then all is forgiven.
If Billy Sharp scores his 1 goal to recreate Dean Windas's volley at Wembley,
all is forgiven.
All is forgiven for being
the one goal Billy Sharp scores for us this season is a 90th minute winner at Plymouth to get us in the top 6. Calling it now.
I'm telling you, he's on 249 English league goals.
Yeah, he's on the edge of it. Yeah,
Plymouth 97th minute. He is missing a penalty.
Yeah, he's missing it. We get a penalty at Plymouth and he's on the pitch. He has to take it.
I'd be more confident in Allsop taking it.
I don't know. I think Sharp's been poor for us, but I think in terms of taking a penalty, I think he's going to be all right.
He's the top scorer in Championship history. And
Allsop's got enough in his legs to actually reach the ball, though. Allsop would trip over. He's Sharp.
To be fair, Edison's penalty he took for Man City was brilliant. I feel like a goalkeeper that's got that ability is deep. But honestly, if Allsop stepped up to take a penalty, given the pelters he's been getting from the fan base, I admire that man. I do. And if he stepped up and missed it as well, my God, that would be the end of his City career. You'd never see him again.
That'd be the end of his career.
If there's one goalkeeper who I think is a spot kick master that's at Hull City, I think it's Timothy Lotatala.
I imagine he takes a lot as a laugh. As we're talking about this, Doncaster Rovers have won 9 games in a row.
Yeah,
they've gone from
they're on the brink of the playoffs, aren't they?
10 games in, they were the worst team in the 92, and now
they've gone from 22nd to outside the playoffs.
They're not even I think they've got their 5th, and there's 6th and 7th are also
the
playoff teams.
The top 3 automatic out the in league.
Yeah. So
he does have these, but if you look back at his stint with us, McCann, he's a
very streaky man.
He is a streaky manager. He's like Bacon, isn't he? He'll go on runs where he just doesn't win for like 10 games, and then over the course of the next 10 and 20, he'll get a load of good runs. Remember in the League One, the League One title season, do you remember over Christmas time when they dropped Lewis Potter with his whole contract situation and whatnot? We had a really bad run, and we were like 5th or 6th or something, and we were all saying, automatic promotion is totally off, and then we just went on some mad run and won the league. McCann does that. It's very bizarre. Like, he just goes on bad runs and then really good runs and then really bad runs and really good runs. There's no consistency.
Me, that implies he's just a bad manager because he can't turn it around after a very long time when it's going badly. And I think when you are winning games in the EFL, that momentum will just carry you so far because Doncaster is their squad top 5. I think in League Two
of the key players to it has been, and it's an ex-player and a current City player. So you've got Lotitala and Adelican. Hakeem Adelican's gone in and absolutely transformed him. And I really liked him when he was there. I don't think he's quite Championship standard, but League Two, what a phenomenal player.
Don't forget Tom Nixon as well. He scored well earlier in the season.
Yeah, I liked Adelican quite a lot, looking back.
Him and Gavin White and Dan
Gavin
Crowley,
White was just Adelican, but with a few more goals in him.
Yeah,
I think all 3 of them are in League Two now, I think.
Gavin White?
Isn't he?
Is Gavin White?
Gavin White's just been promoted to the Championship with Portsmouth.
Yeah.
So
is he at Pompey? I know Crowley's in League Two somewhere, I think.
Jordan Flores, that's a name.
Yeah. Oh, we've come to the part of the podcast where we just name random Hull City players.
We'll have to do reminisce episodes when the season's over.
That League One season was fun, but to me, I realize that he's not a good manager because
Martin Pusic.
Obviously, anyone who knows anything what they're talking about won't say this, but can I just insult the whole of League Two? Have I got permission to insult League Two?
No, not really.
But the very bottom teams and the very top teams, I like skill-wise. Is there much to differentiate them, or is it based on sort of the other deterministic factors of the momentum, like Doncaster have at the moment? I don't think you look at their 11 and think, oh, player for player, they're better.
I mean, I wouldn't look at their 11 because I don't follow League Two.
Well, no, but
I don't know what the score is down there. I'll be honest, I'm not investing in it. Same with League One. You're not really investing in the leagues properly that you're not involved in.
True.
I think we should do a bit of League One talk briefly, though, because it does kind of finish this weekend. And Pompey have been promoted as champions.
I'm glad Portsmouth are back. I don't mind Portsmouth.
Former Tiger Gavin White in there. Also, my my head of sixth form's a Portsmouth fan. He's from down that way, so he was buzzing. Then Derby currently in second. Former Tigers there: Sonny Bradley, Martin Waghorn, and Callum Elder. 3 points behind them and 4 goals worse off on goal difference are Bolton with former Tigers Nathan Baxter and Randall Williams. They're 3 points behind Derby, and Bolton on the last day played Peterborough in 4th, just below them. Derby play Carlisle, who are bottom and have been relegated for a long time. Then, like I said, Peterborough 4th, Barnsley 5th, former Tiger there, Herbie Kane, and then Lincoln in 6th. Level on points with Oxford, but with 5 goals better. Blackpool with Matthew Pennington, former Tiger.
He's still going.
Still in. He's still in with a shout, but their goal difference is far worse, and they are, however, only a point behind and have won their last 4 on the spin. We then get to Stevenage in
they're not
in 9th, who have no former Tigers, and I have nothing interesting to add about them either. So that's
cool.
Are you done? Because you missed out.
You should do that for the bottom 15 teams
one
as
of
well.
the most important ones in there. I kind of spaced out, I'll be honest. But I think you missed out an important one who scored this past weekend to possibly keep big goal Curtis Davies at Cheltenham.
Yeah,
they are still in the
relegation. 2 points from safety going into the final game And he
Big
scored
game
the winner.
against Peterborough. They beat Peterborough as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They won. He scored the winner at Burton, who were just above them, and then I think they beat Peterborough. So that's gone to the final day. Him and Andy Smith, of course. Good luck to them. Hope they get the win and stay up on the final day.
Can I do a niche former Tiger fact?
Yeah.
Elliot Bonds in there. Remember him?
Yes,
That's
I do.
That's a rare name.
I do. Yeah, good stuff.
Still playing for Guyana.
Yeah. So, I mean, now that we're getting to the part where we're just talking about random stuff, I've actually prepared a combined lineup for the Ipswich game.
Oh,
now,
God.
Will, you told me off.
Oh,
you
God.
told me off for even daring to bother to do one, considering
It's boring.
Wait, before Nathaniel does this bit, to the 116 current people that are watching this episode,
Blimey.
please don't leave us right now for this bit. This bit's the best bit. Make sure you hit subscribe and you press like, because this is really good and we do this all the time. So yeah, fire away, Nathaniel. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. So, but as you were saying, it's just going to be all Ipswich players. So I just thought I'd do a combined lineup. So, also, I'm going to do a bit here, but before I put it on, does anyone want to predict what I've done for a laugh?
You also up front goal, aren't you?
I really can't say it. I will have to say it because this is a podcast, so people will have to listen in. But this is what I've come up with. Allsop is in goal. Also, the other 10 players all play for Hull City. So,
Jesus Christ!
so it's not a combined lineup. It's just your predicted lineup.
Well, Will was saying, it should be 11 Ipswich players. So I thought,
no, I fucking did not.
I'll show him. And so
I'd have at least had Greaves in there.
It's the I've got Jacob Greaves at the back. I'm not going to read it out because it's the Hull City lineup. It's the Hull City lineup. So that's fun. That's it.
Cheers, guys.
We've still got 115 listeners, watchers. So
yeah,
we
only lost one.
I think you must be on a delay.
Yes, I'll refresh this and see the number increase. Hopefully, it's down to 7. Yeah. So I guess we will officially predict what we'll think will happen against the Tractor Boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
You were very concerned there, but that was correct.
I wanted to call them the Millers, but who are the Millers?
That's Rotherham, you divvy.
Yeah. I think they're not as good as Ipswich.
You know what? That might be the most sensible thing you've said all evening.
That's true. Oh, can I also say that Ryan Longman is actually doing really well at the moment?
No, you can't say it.
No joke. He's genuinely doing very well. Okay, that's it. Yeah, Will, 3-0?
Yeah, well, of course I'm going to predict 3-0. I always predict 3-0. At this point, why would I stop with 2 games left?
Yeah, I suppose. And Ipswich.
I'm going to say a really shaky 2-1. I think we're 2-0 up, and then Ipswich score late on, and then we just...
They're absolutely hammering us for like the last 10 minutes.
Receive a barrage for the last 10 minutes of the game, and we've got no nails left by the time we go home, but somehow
we
escape out.
Yeah,
I'd like that very much. Joe?
Seriously, this time, when I say I'm going to agree with what someone predicts, I am absolutely in agreement with Ant. I think it will be 2-1, and we will be backs to the wall, 11 men on the line at the end.
They'll probably hit the crossbar a couple of times, and one of their players will miss an absolute sitter and put it out wide, and it's one of those, I think.
Amer will finally score.
Yes.
Yeah,
let's have it.
Good.
Amer and Delap the scorers, please.
We didn't mention many performances earlier, but again, Amer was ace against Coventry.
Oh my God.
I honestly think I would have probably voted for him player of the season if he was an option.
I'm surprised he wasn't an option.
Good.
It's interesting that he wasn't.
You've got to
I get why.
15 games, isn't it?
Yeah, I get why, but he'd have got a few votes. He wouldn't have got my vote in particular, but he'd have got a few votes.
Hey, going off his performances this season, next season we've got an absolute diamond. Imagine this level of performance for 46 games next year.
I said on when I was on Radio Humberside earlier this week, I said to James O'Garth, he should be building our team around next season.
Yeah, him and Tufan, the chemistry there, superb, chef's kiss.
Who
We've
did
gone
you
up to
all vote
120.
Who did you all vote for Player of the Year? Out of curiosity.
Louis Coyle.
Louis Kyle.
Louis Coyle.
I haven't voted.
Ryan Longman
Although-
wasn't a choice.
To be fair, I voted for the Millwall Player of the Year. He was an option for that. He wasn't. I wish he was. To be fair, when I was doing a blog for the QPR Loft for Words blog, who were great, go read their stuff, I forgot Jacob Greaves existed, and I did say Louis Coyle as well, to be fair. But
yeah, it was a toss-up between Greaves and Coyle for me. But
Yeah, it was same me. It was between them two.
he was suspended, so letting me off. He wasn't.
But
in
if we
my
give
lineup.
if
I
we
couldn't
give
remember any-
Greaves, there has been in the past the whole problem that when we give Player of the Year to someone, they get sold in the summer. So hopefully we don't give Player of the Year to
Alfie's
Greaves.
still here.
Alfie Jones is still here.
And so's
Yeah,
Regan.
but that was Rosinia's Player of the Season, not the
Oh,
fans.
Regan's still here.
I
Yeah.
suppose that's true.
Screw your
All
theory.
the time.
I
No, but
think-
there tends to be
There's
more
not, it's
often
always
than
going to
not.
be one who has interest.
Think
on
back,
them.
Michael Turner, Snodgrass, etc., etc.
I think it is a bit harsh on Ryan Woods, to be fair. He
Okay.
got
Does he
sent
even get
off.
game time?
He got-
Bristol Rovers fans hate him, man. That's
Is
just the level that he's at.
Exeter
Is it
quite like
Exeter?
him, I think.
He got sent off though, didn't he? So
It was a good red card. If you've seen it,
didn't he just kick someone?
he pretty much.
Just karate kick them off the ball for the
Ben-
hell of
It
it.
Full
was, it was a
canter.
cracking red card. Fair play to him.
It was a good one.
Now, as a man who was mistaken for Ryan Woods at the end of last season,
I wonder why.
it's not the fact, it's not like I'm 6 inches taller than him or anything.
No,
It's just ginger.
pretty
Anyway,
much.
I shall make comment that Ryan Woods is Hull City's Player of the Season.
Epic.
Fair enough.
I didn't even do my prediction. 2-1 to Ipswich.
Boo.
Reverse psychology.
Classic Nathaniel.
We will be
predicted us
winning.
to
We will be
lose.
back to the wall, and Sharp will score 2 own goals.
Right, good. And I think that is as good a time as any to end because we're talking absolute nonsense now.
Yeah. Anytime we go beyond an hour, we just
Actually, before we go there, fuck the FA for
Yes.
what they've done to the FA Cup. That is all. If you want to read more of my ramblings, I've written an article for the Holderness Gazette, which most people who listen probably won't be able to get. So
cool. Well, Will,
stuff.
Joe, and
Screw the FA.
superb work as always. Thanks for a lot of
too,
the Leicester
Nathaniel,
City
thank you.
fans who've commented in today as well. And we'll be back after Biddy Sharp scores 2 own goals on Saturday night. See you then.
Go on, you foxes.